This is a Willets Point Shea Stadium bound 7 express train. The next and last stop is Willets Point, Shea Stadium.
Let's get right into it, man. The news broke early in the morning that Mets president of baseball operations, David Stearns, was going to address the media to discuss Kodai Senga's status, which was initially arm fatigue. And as soon as you hear that the president of baseball operations is setting up a meeting, you got to have a little bit of concern. And, when you hear this, automatically the Met fans, you think the worst. You start jumping into the car, setting your GPS to Panic City. If fans remember that place, we're quite often there. But I have been so used to starting the spring off like this, whether it was Verlander last year, DeGrom in years past. You can even go all the way back to Zach Wheeler when he got his Tommy John surgery in the spring. So I'm like kind of numb to most of these injuries at this point in time now. But Kodai Senga, after Stearns addressed the media, Kodai Senga has a moderate shoulder strain, a technical term, right posterior capsule strain. He's shut down until the symptoms subside and strength returns to his arm. Will start the season on the injured list. The length is unknown. Now, I said on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it, that whatever the length is of him being out, you can add another month to that, because now he will need an extended spring training just to get ready, right? That's probably the route that they're going to be taking.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like, once it's shown that it's healed a little bit, that they're going to have to, proceed and go right back to spring training mode, ramp him up. Obviously, he's only been throwing for about 2 weeks now. So, kind of starting at square one once they determine that he can, that the healing and the strain has gone down. So we'll see what happens.
Now, Andrew, we don't know how long Kodai is going to be out for, but have you seen any examples or comparisons to other pitchers that we can kind of make like an educated guess or gauge how long that this could possibly take?
Nothing that I've actually seen. When you hear right posterior capsule, that was something that I had actually never heard before. Actually, it's funny. In texting, I have a source in the medical field. It's something that he says, how long was he throwing with this type of strain? That's something that, interesting to me. How much damage did he do? So it'll be curious to see just how long it takes, for that injury to heal. It's something that kind of, the joint kind of holds the shoulder joint in place. So it's critical that that's completely healed before he goes back at it. You don't want any more inflammation. So, we'll see what happens as far as just the timeline. Obviously, the Mets didn't provide one today. I'm sure, in the coming days, it's something that might reveal itself, just, that estimation of how long they anticipate him being out for.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of Met fans were like, we've only been throwing for a couple of days. How could he already have a strain? Like, how much harder was he throwing during the spring? Or can this date back to even last season? Because he really started ramping it up. Once they traded Scherzer and Verlander, we were getting the best of Senga, and he was pitching closely to almost every fifth day. So who knows if that had an effect on him, but we now know that he will be out to start the season. The best news to come out of all of this is that he won't need surgery. And Stearns was adamant that he is still going to pitch a lot of games for the Mets this season. I know Abby Mastreko of the Daily News said that he experienced similar discomfort when he pitched in Japan. And Kodai said during the presser he could still pitch and throw hard, but he wouldn't be able to do it at a high level. So that's when he went to the training staff, and now this is all, taken care of. Right away, there were thoughts of if the Mets will now go after a Blake Snell or to Jordan Montgomery, to which, David Stearns quickly shut that down. We'll get into the internal options shortly. But do you think they are really out on these pitchers, or is Stearns just kind of keeping his, cards close to the vest? And because, we know it's Scott Boras, and he'll have all the leverage now against the Mets.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, obviously just how far that number comes down. Obviously Snell was, seeking, a long-term deal. Close to 9 years. I know that's something the Mets, obviously, with their situation, what they've been trying to do with the payroll, doesn't really fit into what their logic, I guess, if you will. But how far, has that number drifted down? But it does seem like, obviously, Stearns mentioned during the media availability, those three options, Joey Lucchesi, Tyler McGill, Jose Butto, they're going to get the first crack here, and we'll see, just what happens. It doesn't seem like, given what their mission is with the payroll, that they're going to go above and beyond to sign one of those ace caliber pitchers, being it Snell or Montgomery.
I have to commend Stearns. Fans may not like it, but he has a plan in place, and he's pretty much sticking to it. Hell or high water, he has not deviated from it at all, whether it comes to the bullpen or it goes with the starting pitching. Even, the current roster and, the hitters, he has not changed anything in his direction